episode of the Hooligans Pitch, episode 80, return from Sin City. Chad, hello.
Hello. I'm tired.
I am exhausted. I got home right around 1 o'clock a.m. last night, Central Time. What did we sleep this weekend? Grand total of maybe 8 hours, maybe.
I was thinking 8. Yeah, like being generous, maybe 8.5. But
for those of you who don't know, Jacob had his bachelor party in Vegas. Jacob and Jeff Pack. Shout outs to the boys. Great time. Great time.
So much fun.
We had the energy.
And we got to see each other in person for a whole weekend, so that was nice.
One of the longer times we've been together. Got to watch a game live for the first time. We did some research. First time since the Women's World Cup. A first Premier League game, arguably since 2019. So
yeah,
we saw your team. Want to jump right in?
Yeah.
I guess we got to do our bevies, then we can get into it.
Yeah, get the bevies out the way, and then we'll jump in.
Are we hydrated?
Not exactly. I'm keeping it light though. Just another spike spin drifts.
Okay.
Nothing too crazy.
Okay. Well, Uncle Rob, I know what I'm getting you for Christmas. We're going spin drifts for Uncle Rob. Apparently, we're drinking some weird stuff out here. No Hito tonight, because I'm on the mend. I'm on the mend.
Yeah.
That drive.
I mean, I will say I feel great. Like, I'm glad none of us got too hungover. I'd say
everyone handled the business. Right.
Yeah. We're grown. We know what we're doing.
Yeah, we're in our 30s now. And definitely went the different Vegas route. I think a lot of people, when they hear the boys are going to Vegas, they're expecting some rowdy times. And let me tell you, the playground, awesome spot, glow-in-the-dark mini golf.
Fun.
Go check that one out. The Speakeasy Donut Shop, plenty to do without getting into all the
darker side.
Yeah, the darker. There you go. Fremont Street.
Yeah.
All right. Well, let's jump into it. Let's just start with the game we witnessed together. Nice little revenge tour for yourself.
Yeah. And Villa in recent time, especially last season, has been a little bit that bogey team for this Arsenal side. Especially once Emery came into play, then it's just even more. Script writers, delicious Emery getting revenge on Arsenal.
Of course.
But luckily that was not to be in this game. I will say I was not very comfortable watching it the whole time. I'm glad we were just kind of chit-chatting throughout it. But it was. I was already a little worried going into it just because of last season and Villa's signings have only been better, like they should be better off of it. So yeah, a little bit nervous going into it, but still confident Arsenal would show up and perform. I think they did, but I think Arsenal also got very lucky that Ollie Watkins could not score a goal this season to save his life.
Yeah, watching that game, that was pretty much my first time really focusing on what Aston Villa was trying to accomplish this year. And he's not getting a lot of love either from his teammates.
That's fair, yeah.
It's hard to say, to rely on the one man. Because we look at last year and how he was scoring goals. A lot of breakaways, a lot of counters, a lot of great balls in the box, especially when Matty Cash was healthy and fit and able to provide, the outlets for Watkins. But I feel like, that's what Matsson's there for. That's what we expected Maatson to do. So for him to still be kind of lingering on the bench right now, I know we've talked about that for the last 2 weeks now, it feels like. When are we going to see that combination come into play? So I think with Aston Villa, it's just their attacking department that needs to get solved a little more.
I think, defense and even midfield felt very solid for them. Shout out Morgan Rogers. That guy, I don't know where he came from, but he could carry the ball through a brick wall. It looked like no one was taking that ball off of him. And there was that moment where he kind of cut through the middle of the field and kind of faked out Declan Rice and kept driving. And I don't like to see that. That was very worrying, not only for this game but for future games. But I think all in all, I think both Declan Rice and Thomas Partey they seemed a little bit off the pace on the day. just a little bit slow to react, and maybe just not as aware of their surroundings as they normally would be. Like, Partey got his pocket picked a time or two, and Declan was just a little bit slow on some of his tackles, and that Rodgers little trip up, I don't think we would normally see him do that. I think he didn't have much of a preseason, so maybe he's still kind of working up to full match fitness with that, but a little concerning to say the least. But if reports are to be believed, then Mikel Merino's coming in, so should see a little bit of a shakeup in that midfield. But I think it was always going to be a fight. I don't think it was going to be easy one way or the other for either team. I got to shout out David Raya, made some big saves. Most notably probably the shot off Onana that took a deflection that bounced off the crossbar perfectly into Ollie Watkins' path.
Yep.
And I'll say, lucky enough, Watkins just headed it straight at Raya, but he had to get up to make that save. So he really kept the clean sheet alive and kept Arsenal in the game in some key moments. So not my most comfortable watch, but you got the job done.
It's only week 2, Chad. It's only week 2.
It's only week 2. It's a little bit tough start to the season for Arsenal as far as games go, and Wolves is fairly easy introduction. But now into Villa, got through that, got Brighton next. So it's not a lot of time to dilly-dally and get up to speed. Kind of have to get right into it.
How you feeling about that Brighton game?
I'm going to be probably just as nervous as this one,
Okay. If not more, arguably, I would say a little bit more.
If not more, Brighton's looks great. Plenty of speed there, and if it's this Declan Rice and this Thomas Partey who couldn't deal with one Morgan Rodgers, it's a little bit worrying.
Yeah, a little background on Morgan Rodgers. Product out of West Brom. Spent 4 years at City, but did go on loan to Lincoln City, Bournemouth, Blackpool. Last year, Middlesbrough. Didn't really have a great year, but now with 12 appearances with Aston Villa in 2024, he's 3 goals. And I'm assuming this is the calendar year, so those must have came last year, but definitely someone to look for. 22 years old, 6'2", agile, swift.
Yeah, and he was just running through that midfield, and I think might have been Gabriel tried to bring him down at one point, and he just brushed him off and kept rolling. It was I don't know where he was last season. I guess maybe just kind of getting up to speed with the team. But I think he looks like a nailed-on starter for Villa, and if he can make that much happen with just dribbling straight up the middle of the field, that's a dangerous weapon for them to have, especially if they can get Watkins scoring again or get the wingers more involved.
For sure. I would love to see Rodgers, Duran, and Watkins try to figure something out together, because those are 3 young and dangerous players.
Yeah, that would be tasty for sure.
Yeah, I mean to have this game be the second game of the year for both these teams, these are the games we would like to see, honestly, near the end when it's title deciding. But happy for Arsenal to get the 2-0 victory here, but at the same time, I hope Aston Villa doesn't get too rattled by this. They
don't think they will. I think they look deflated, especially coming off of last season. I think they probably felt like they could build off of those games against Arsenal and against City and stuff, and kind of be that team that can help decide the title one way or the other. So I think deflating in that sense, and even the Trossard goal came off a little deflection. The Partey goal was maybe savable, but in replays, we saw Emmy, it's kind of already shifted his weight away from the near post, so
and he got a hand on it.
Still got a hand on it, so maybe should have saved it, but it's still, your momentum was already moving the opposite way. So I think they'll just be bummed to give up the goals the way they did after staying so organized and playing so well. But I don't think they'll be too down on themselves. They
They shouldn't. Well, they better
shouldn't.
not, because they got 4 games coming up that they should smoke: Leicester, Everton, Wolves, Ipswich.
Oh yeah, see that's a great run.
So you got
that. If you can get Ollie scoring in that run, then I think he's off on his trajectory to, do what he did last season for the team.
just watching the end of that game. They didn't. I don't know. They just seemed really deflated. Like, I get it. They should have done better in front of your home crowd. I didn't get to hear what Emery said afterwards. I hope he said we go again next week, and then we got to get it into gear. But, I mean, West Ham's a good team. Arsenal, number 2 last year.
Yeah.
Now it's time to smoke these bottom tier teams.
Yeah, and, I think they can do it. I think you really just got to get Ollie scoring. Like, if he takes his 2 open chances in this game, it's completely different. Like, that first chance where it's basically open goal for him that he hits wide is, like, very early on. So that would have changed the course of the game had that gone in. And then, even later, I think whether it ends in a draw or a win, it's, at least something more to take from that game. So I think they'll come around, and, I'm just glad, like, from the Arsenal side that, like, last season Arsenal started slow and seemed to struggle to score. Whereas this time, I think not struggling to score, I think still starting a little bit slow, but if we've learned anything from City, that's what they do. They start very slow, kick into gear for second half a season, and then just, blitz to the end. So if Arsenal can do that, I think we'll be looking pretty good. Arteta's already being better about rotating, it looks like. So, he's maybe learned a lesson or 2 along the way as well. So, yeah, overall, great game. Glad I got to watch it with you. Have some brekkie, have a little drink.
About time, man. We're close to doing that again soon.
Yeah.
God, we did that so many times during the early 2010s. That was like, felt like every weekend at times. I do want to pinpoint Ben White's accuracy when someone messed with his teammates.
Incredible.
Wow. How did John McGinn live through that one?
I mean, for Ben White to, like, split second to decide, I'm kicking this right at you, but with Saliba right there, like,
that could have been very bad.
It could have been bad. It could have been I don't think Saliba would have taken it too personally, but, like, it just would have looked bad. It would have been, meme worthy, make fun of him sort of thing. Like, but yeah, Ben White,
no hesitation.
He was right there to stick up for his teammate, which you love to see. And I'm glad the ref didn't, get carried away with cards for the whole situation, because it was
surprised he didn't, though.
I am a little bit surprised, but I think because maybe just a couple minutes before that, there was already another, like, altercation with Saliba and was it McGinn again? I think it was McGinn again. So I think, ref maybe just understood the context there a little bit more, and maybe had a good enough view that McGinn did kind of kick the ball into Saliba unnecessarily. So, like, all right, Arsenal, you get one back through Ben White, and now is all is fair now.
Should have choked him. It's the same thing.
Yeah. Well, that's all I got, though.
Fair enough.
Game 2 in the book, and now I get to be nervous about Brighton.
Yep. All right, well, let's jump to Liverpool. We caught that game.
We were in bed.
Yep. We stayed out pretty late that night. We had intentions on watching those early games, but I think both deep down we knew that really wasn't going to happen, especially because of how much we watched on Saturday. I feel like we got our fix in. I think I woke up right around the 30th minute, checked the scores, saw Chelsea scoring. I woke you up with that. I was like, I can't wait till Chad wakes up. I got to tell him what happened. That was the first words I said to Chad this morning. Chelsea won 6-2. You just started laughing.
I couldn't believe it. I thought I was still dreaming or something.
Yeah, it was pretty awesome. But Liverpool, Chad, Luis Diaz can finish.
He's back, baby.
Was this?
He thought he was playing for Colombia, so he was like, "All right, let's play."
This was shades of 2018, 2019 counterattacks. Mo Salah putting his body on the line, Jota slotting the perfect ball to Diaz, and then easy sprint to the finish. So
Great
happy.
like power on that shot too.
Weak foot shot, uh,
Yeah.
top left bins, and even then, I thought Flecken had a pretty good read on it. He took a pretty good angle. It was just better shot, better counter.
Mm-hmm.
So loved to see that. Loved it. And then to finalize the game, just Mo Salah with the cheeky little dump off finesse shot,
You
worm
can't leave him
burner.
that open, you know.
No, it's crazy.
Come on.
It's crazy. So Mo's staying on my door until he doesn't score anymore.
Sick, all right.
Watch out, Vardy. I would not be shocked if Salah just goes on this tear right now and just gets one a game for the next. How many more we got? Nine to tie.
Yeah.
I think it's realistic. I think because he has so many records now with Liverpool in the Premier League, opening day scoring, most left-footed goals in the league. I think that's the one that it seemed unreachable for so long, right?
Yeah.
And Jamie Vardy accomplished that in 2016 with ease. It felt like with ease, right?
It felt like you knew every game he was just going to score. Like, I mean, that Leicester team was just kind of on another level that year, but still, he just like he had this aura around him to always score. And I mean, yeah, I guess Salah's back with a vengeance.
It's great. I love it. Our next 9 matchups, I did look ahead quite a bit just to see what they were. I'm just going to go really quick, and I think you could agree with me that these are all very scoreable games and multiple goals, not just for him but for the whole team. Man United this weekend, which the last time we played them we struggled. They've kind of been our kryptonite at least the last 2 matchups, but that was just a weird year, so we'll call it that. Forest, absolutely. Bournemouth, yes. Wolves, yes. Crystal Palace, yes. Chelsea, their defense has been pretty scattered, so I'm thinking we can make that happen. Arsenal's in there, and then Brighton. So that Arsenal game is the one for the tie. So that's that. But even then, it's got to be Mo. It's got to be Mo to score that game. So I'll be pretty fascinated for that one. We got a while though. November 9th.
Okay.
So
yeah, I mean,
we're gonna follow that. We're gonna follow that one.
I mean, Salah's already looked good in these opening games, as well as I'd say the rest of Liverpool looks pretty good. So I think that's definitely a run where he can at least find one goal a game. And I wouldn't be surprised if a few of them, come from some penalty kicks in there, because these teams just be letting him be open on that wing and drive in, and someone's going to get upset and take him out, and he'll still make you pay.
Yep. So I love what we're doing right now. I love the rotation he's doing. We've only had one problem. Essentially, Trent came off and was sulking on the bench. And I don't know if you saw the clip, but Slot went right up to him, started talking to him. Yeah. And then he was asked about it later, about, what was going on. And I'm just going to read this verbatim. Every player wants to play 90 minutes, but I don't think the players that were on the bench from the start were really happy with the choice that I made. I get it. That squad is so talented. All those guys could play 90 minutes. I mean, look at Gakpo. He had an amazing summer. Trent, in the limited time he had with England, was one of the best players out there and didn't even get to see the pitch. So I understand the frustration with Trent not getting these full amount of games. But I think this is going to be such an irrelevant problem in, we'll call it mid Champions League, when or even November, December, when those guys are like, take me out, give me the sub, I want the rest.
I think it's certainly, I mean, obviously all these players want to play as much as they can, but I think they also need to try and keep in mind that this is early season, right? It's a long season,
early,
not only Premier League, but FA Cup, EFL, Champions League. Like, you got so many matches coming at you, and to get any sort of break this early, I think will only benefit them later, whether they realize that or not. But again, I think Slot handled that pretty well. Like, you don't want to create some, Guardiola, João Cancelo issue of he thinks he deserves to play every single minute. It's like, this is still a team sport. We are going to be better off with everyone getting good game time. Like you've seen that with Arsenal in the past with Arteta not rotating enough. So when the other guys come in, they don't look connected to the team. They don't look ready to play.
For sure.
So I think, it's smart from Slot to make those rotations, but I think also good to, want to connect on that like player manager level and maybe explain himself, or just maybe he's not even doing that with Trent. Maybe he's just telling Trent like, hey, that's a good game from you, and just like kind of reassuring him and not making it like that a sub is a bad thing,
The 5 subs he made all made sense. It's the 5 guys who should come off. So make sure we are going to make it towards the end of the season. Endo for Gravenberch, Elliott for Salah, Connor Bradley for Trent, Nunez and Gakpo for Diaz and Jota. It's like, and they made those early in the 70th minute, 3 of them.
Oh yeah.
So I get it. I know you want your 90, but this team is good. This team is good. I want to. I'm thinking too far ahead. We're 2 games in, but man, it's going to take something special right now for how locked in we are to beat us. That's how confident I am right now. Could change. Man United game could be a bogey again.
Yeah, I mean, I will say, I think, again, it's been 2 games, but I think Liverpool's first halves have been a little bit shaky, maybe would be the word. Like not as locked in as they come out in the second half, and like that is peak Liverpool right there. Which makes some sense. Slot and the players have had a whole half to figure out what the other team's trying to do, and then you can work around it. But I think if they can start a little bit stronger, then I think this team's going to be just a menace for the whole season as long as people can stay fit.
We definitely kind of an idle that first half. No mistake.
Which is not necessarily a bad thing. Like if you can play these games in first, second gear, ideally getting the goals early and then just playing it out, then like that works. You don't need to commit 100% energy if game's over early, but you do need to obviously get the goals early to allow that. So I mean, I think that'll come. I think it's probably a little bit tactical of read the game and see what we can do, but then also just maybe mentally just kind of get everyone up off the blocks early. Like Ipswich and Brentford are not the 2 big teams that you're really getting up early for, and Jones and for. So I understand it, but I mean, it's for sure going to come. It won't be a long issue.
And the mids we have right now, Gravenberch, McAllister, and Szoboszlai, this is now they've had a full year under their belts with Liverpool. Of course, Slot is new to this, but I feel like that goes a long way too. The first halves of last year felt chaotic. This year they feel slow.
Yeah.
I'll take the slow any day.
Sure.
Any day. And we got to give flowers to Konate. I think that guy saw his starting spot go to Kwanzaa and said, I need to lock in. And I mean, he put his body on the line.
He made some great moves.
That was great, awesome to see. I'm actually trying to trade for him in my other fantasy league right now. Unfortunately, another Liverpool fan has him, and I don't know if I'm gonna be able to get it. So, a smart move by him. I want him to. I tried to go McAllister for Konate straight up, and then he wanted all my Liverpool guys, and I said, I can't do that. Too far.
Yeah.
But other than that, solid, man. I hope we absolutely smoke Man United this weekend.
I hope so too.
I don't know if I'll get to watch it. I don't know. I'll be in Tennessee. I'm going to try my best. I think it's at 10. I think we play at 10 that day.
10 for you on Sunday.
So borderline, we'll see. I'll probably try to tune in. I'll at least be paying attention to it through notifications. But I hope we smash them. And I think everyone wants us to smash them too. So,
I mean, they haven't had a great start to the season. So,
well, to quote Ten Hag, we're not ready. And to quote Slot, we are ready. Is that right? We're not ready. Did you see that? You see that little banter?
I didn't, but I wouldn't be surprised if he said something along those lines. He says some weird things.
Here it is. Ten Hag on opening week said the team is not ready. And to counter that a day later, Arne Slot said the team is ready. So that's awesome.
Yeah, well, I think Brighton found that they United was not ready. So,
Great segue.
yeah, I I'll be honest, I did set an alarm to wake up for this one, knowing full well we would not get up for it.
Did it go
But
off?
just on my watch,
Oh,
so
okay.
you didn't hear anything. But
Never do.
um, I woke up, silenced it on my watch, and said, "Nah, too early."
Yep.
um, so
But when you
we
check the
missed a
score,
yeah, we missed a little bit of a game,
mm-hmm.
but going back and watching the highlights of it, I mean, this Brighton team just was all over United.
They look
It,
good.
if United's not ready 2 weeks in, uh, I don't think they're going to be ready 3 weeks in against a Liverpool team that is looking crazy.
Again, you play up to your opponents, right? And I understand Brighton looked pretty good, but Man United might not have been expecting that. The Danny Welbeck revenge tour against Man United. Nice little slick goal, great assist by Matoma.
Mm-hmm.
I like Brighton, man. I like them. I was down on them early in this year. Just wasn't really sure what they were trying to do. Found out
Yeah.
they spent the second most in Europe this
Yeah, I
year.
saw that. Which, fair enough, Chelsea has given them so much money, so you might as well spend it. Yeah, but yeah, I mean, just weird for United to still be starting Maguire in there when you got De Ligt now. I'd say maybe not 100% at fault for that first goal, but he lets that cross go through.
Mm-hmm.
If he just clears it, that goal doesn't happen,
Yep.
So um, it's always a risky take when the cross goes through. If the ball comes back in, uh, defenders have a split second basically to get realigned and find their guy. And Welbeck found a great gap here and got his goal. So what a start for Welbeck. And again, Hector, I don't know how you knew,
Flowers, more
but
flowers for Hector.
but yeah, he's riding that Welbeck train and picking up some good points along the way.
No one saw that coming. No
No,
one. So,
no, not at all.
but the game winner,
Oh,
that was awful defending.
it like
Dreadful.
so bad.
Wide open, had all like two players could have scored that goal.
Yeah.
They were ready to score it. João Pedro found a way to make it happen,
Mm-hmm.
and game set match. Man United looked like fools back there. Man, bottom 10, shift them.
Hey,
What makes them better?
Well, I think they got to stop with this no striker formation because Bruno and Mason Mount up top playing a like weird double 10 false 9 thing is just not working. Rashford is not the winger he once was. Diallo, I don't think he has flashes of looking good, but I don't think he's like good enough to be your winger. Honestly, I'd rather see Garnacho start over him. I understand Hoyland's out, but like you got Xerxes, he has some good energy. He, got a goal first game. You might as well let him kind of try and build on that. But Ten Hag is just gonna do Ten Hag things, and here we are. It's if they go to, is it at Liverpool? No, but regardless, if they go to play Liverpool with no striker up there, Virgil and Konate are going to have the easiest game of their life.
Why even play two center backs?
Yeah, exactly.
Just let Virgil handle it. I kid, but it feels like that could happen.
Yeah. It's like I kind of said this when we were talking at breakfast, where like the neutral part of me thinks that Ten Hag should not be here. Hasn't done enough. I get he has had some little resurgence here and there, but to already go through this weird like we're not bringing Ten Hag back, only for him to win with the FA Cup, and then have this like weird 2-3 week pause of like we're considering our option on him, and then to like keep him around is just weird energy all around, and
then to say we're not ready when the season's starting.
Yeah,
No, that doesn't sound very confident.
Just not good looks.
Like when your players hear that, that's got to just be so draining for what your team is trying to accomplish. The season's begun. You've been preparing for this for we'll call it 3 months at this point. And then right as the season's starting, we're not ready. Bad look.
Yeah, I mean,
a bad look.
Even beyond, what the players might think from that, if I'm, the board and I hear my manager tell the media we're not ready, like that's a dark mark on you as the manager. Like you've had the whole preseason and, prior to that for, tactical stuff to get this team ready. And if you can't have done that in that time, like that's a huge red flag.
Row.
But the Arsenal fan in me says Ten Hag's doing great. Keep him in there.
Stick with it. You never know.
Exactly.
Well, Mason Mount is hurt, so this might force them to make some changes.
Okay.
We keep seeing Xerxes coming on at half. These big signings that these clubs have made, not just Man U, but others out there, get those new guys you signed in. Get them going.
Yeah.
What are we waiting for? So I'm hoping, not that I wanted Mason Mount to get hurt. Of course not. I liked Mason Mount as a player. I thought he was class when he was with Chelsea and just hasn't, this is kind of just another Man United player who gets there and just can't put it together. We've seen plenty of those in recent years. But now with this one, I feel like it forces you to get Xerxes in from the beginning and then maybe put Bruno back into his main position. I think that's probably my one fear looking into this weekend is we don't know what this team will look like if they put Xerxes up top. We'll know what they look like if they put Bruno back there, back in his central position, but maybe Slot will have enough. Now, actually, let me think about this. Did Xerxes play for Slot? Or was he from Ajax?
I don't think he was. I don't actually know, but he's probably at least had a team go against Xerxes, so he knows at least what a little bit of what qualities he brings out there.
Interesting. Arne Slot sent Erik ten Hag transfer warning by former teammate after Man United error. This is in regards to Xerxes. So I think at one point, just by the way that reads, Xerxes played for Slot.
Yeah, that does sound like it.
Fascinating.
Well, if that's the case, then Slot should have a very good idea of what to expect, and just depends if whether he thinks Ten Hag can get that out of Xerxes or have been able to have enough time with him to change up his play a little bit. I don't think he will have, but
interesting. Okay, well, Man United might be the new team that we are looking at every week and just picking at them just because it's easy to do.
Yeah.
Maybe this is a good segue to Chelsea because we might not have to do that to you as much this year if you're going to put up 6 goals.
Yeah, 6-2 over Wolves is certainly a result. But I think maybe a little more flattering than it really the result is.
I said the Wolves were getting relegated, and I think this is just further proving it.
Yeah.
Are you on that train?
They got a lot of problems. But that said, I don't think they played terribly in the first half of this game. It was just the worst start, obviously, letting Jackson get a goal 2 minutes in.
Easy one.
But then I thought, Wolves fought back pretty well. Had a lot of good chances. Maybe should have been up going into half, but they still brought it back to a draw at half, which is big. I thought they looked pretty good that first half, where it's just missed some big opportunities, but definitely like grew back into the game. But then just second half just came out slow and completely fell apart.
Crumbled. They crumbled hard.
Yeah.
They had
Uh,
a 15-minute spell where just nothing went their way,
yeah.
and Madueke was just wide open for all of his goals, and Palmer just slotting them to him.
Yeah. Too easy.
And then, of course, the Palmer goal too. Just nice, perfect kiss on the ball, but poor Saw, man, he tried. not much more he could do.
No, yeah, it was just bad spot for him. Mascara probably should have done more to get to that ball anyway. But not to take anything away from Chelsea, it's still a great performance for them, especially for João Felix's goal. They had great ball movement, really good running there, and great pass from Neto to find Felix for his second debut Chelsea goal. But yeah, I think Chelsea fans, as the days go on here and they think back on this game and maybe take another look, should see that this is maybe more of the benefit of just Wolves being pretty bad right now. To give up 4 goals in the second half is just terrible form, and at some point Wolves are pushing to get a goal back, so it leaves them more exposed. But Chelsea took advantage of that, so good on them. But I wouldn't say they're out of our like pick on them every week category yet. I need to see more of this.
I agree with you. We need more. We need more context. And I was mistaken. You had the Wolves at 15. I had them at 17. And I think 15, that could be accurate.
15 feels a little high, I think, now.
Yeah, you got Leicester and Southampton right after.
Well,
I don't know.
We can readjust.
Ipswich, honestly, they showed a little more fight than at least more than Southampton. So I might. This will be maybe a mid-season adjustment. We'll have to look at that.
Yeah.
But yeah, I mean, 6 goals. There's nothing wrong with that. Madueke said he hates the city, and he said, "I hate this arena too."
Yeah. I mean, if he had not put up a good performance after posting that, it would have been just even more awkward than it was already looking to be. But then to make that post and then come out and do the hat trick against the Wolves was like just perfectly written.
He had to score a hat trick. He had to.
Yeah, exactly.
Maybe that's his motivation. Maybe he needs to be angry coming into each city. And
if it works, go for it.
If it works, right? And then Cole Palmer, hat trick of assists and a goal. Nice stat line. The 5 GCA. Nice day for him.
Yeah. I mean, yeah, it's if they can build on that and always get Palmer in these, more creative positions.
Yep.
Whether he's scoring or not, I think, they have so many attackers up there now that you got to just let him get the ball and feed the attack because he's talented enough to do it. I think you do have enough talent up top to get it done too. It just, if everything else clicks.
Got to be healthy.
Yeah, that too.
If Neto can keep it going, Felix too, and Jackson can hit his chances.
Yeah.
Top 5 is reasonable with how much money they're spending.
Sure.
Like that should be an expectation, I think, with that amount of money you're spending, right?
Yeah, for real.
The back line, though, I think that's probably the biggest question mark.
Yeah, backline and like midfield, I think, are still, or like defensive end of the midfield is still a little bit suspect for me. Mascara had that pretty harsh tackle on Caicedo here, so another Redworthy challenge from the guy.
They took Caicedo out of the game. However, Caicedo is not on the injury report. So,
I mean, I wouldn't be surprised if they don't rush him back. They got Palace next, so that should be winnable. Leicester after that, so he can maybe take a week off, maybe two if they're feeling he needs it.
International break too will
Yeah.
give him a little
So
extra time.
I think it's I don't know, just that midfield is already always felt so weirdly balanced with Enzo and Caicedo in there. So now I guess it might click a little bit better now if Caicedo can't play. It might be a little more balanced, so that might work out. But I think still that back line just kind of needs to get a little more solidified. I don't know. I think you're missing that Thiago Silva figure back there just to keep everything organized back there. And Colwell looks good. Fofana should be good. I think he's just kind of working back to like really truly full match fitness after not playing all of last season through injury. Gusto I think tends to look better every game that I see him. And you might as well just keep him there because Reese will come in and either get injured or get a red card and not play.
Yep.
And whoever's on that left side, I don't even know.
Who is it over there now?
Let's see. They did Cucurella. So
of course,
I don't think he's been as good as he looked in the Euros. But you can get there, I guess. And I don't know. I think they've always had enough talented players to do something. It's just that they've always struggled to like get the team together and playing well. So if this is the start of it, cool. But I'm not ready to say they're off our naughty list yet.
No, we still have an asterisk by them.
Yeah,
we'll be checking up on you weekly here. Okay. Should we go City Ipswich?
Yeah.
Man, when Ipswich went up 1-0, I just thought, could they do it? Could they
do it?
Is Ederson just not mentally right?
Ederson looks off. Not only this game, but first game too.
We've never rated him like as a great keeper, winning Premier League keeper of the year. I've always thought that was just a gift because of how good City was, and of course he had every clean sheet that he could possibly achieve. It was too easy with them. Something looks off this year. Hands look like bricks, and it just looks out of position. I mean, that goal, that there's no way that ball should have gone by him.
No.
But the pass though, crisp.
Pass was perfect. Yeah.
Yep. So to see Ipswich go up 1-0, I had dreams. I had hopes.
Yeah.
And then Chad, and then what happened?
Haaland said, game 2, I don't have a hat trick yet. It's time.
And we quote his game ball. I'm sick of riding these match balls. Oh, I'm so sorry.
I just want to know who wrote that. Like, there's no name by it. I'm thinking it's like, I almost want to say it's De Bruyne, but like, I don't know. I don't know who would have wrote it. Yeah, it's clearly all in jest, but I mean, a hat trick against Ipswich, good, but maybe not the most impressive.
The goals came easy.
The goals came pretty easy, especially Muric is running out.
What's he doing, dude?
If you're coming out, you're either getting the ball or you're taking out the guy, and he did neither.
he was so clutch. I felt like he was so clutch last year in just trying to keep his team alive in these games. And now it's like he's doing too much.
I think so.
Trying to do too much for his club, and it's hurting them.
Yeah, he needs to just, I think, take a little step back, keep it just more basic, play your game. I think he must have heard Onana saying, like, let's get risky this season. He's like, all right, bet, I'm in.
Well, if he can say it, I can too.
Yeah. I mean, I think at the end of the day, this game probably went as much as anyone expected it to go. the big highlight being Ipswich's goal. I think, like, for me, it overshadows the hat trick, but
it does, absolutely. City giving up a goal. Our goal differential, again, another thing we might have to pay attention to. If Ipswich came in so clutch on week 2 to score a goal against them, that is a deciding factor. You know what, Chad? We don't have a post-it note going yet. Hang on, I'm gonna find it.
Well, there you go, Ipswich. Your post-it note approved on the Hooligans Pitch podcast. So potentially, thank you.
There's good stuff on this one from last year. Well, I'm gonna keep hanging on to these. I might need another post-it note to re-update because I have Chelsea versus Arsenal, 35th minute Havertz goal with a Martinelli goal to follow. So that must have been something happening last year.
Yeah.
Ipswich goal. Week 2 decides the title.
That would be crazy.
8:26. You heard it here first on the Hooligans Pitch. All right. Got any more to say about that game?
Not really. No.
Yeah.
We kind of jokingly said, "Oh, this might be the game he gets 5." Then it didn't happen. I think really just City realized they didn't have to play all out. So,
Did you see the Haaland PK chart?
No.
He only goes left. His left.
Really?
Every goal he scored from a PK in the Premier League, which I'm pretty sure that's what it said. He's only gone left.
Oh, really? Wow. Well, someone should read into that and start diving left real good.
Why not? At this rate, yes. Start going that way. Maybe I don't want to say stand there, but cheat a little.
Yeah.
Make the guy go right. See if he can do it.
Yeah.
Maybe he doesn't like closing his shoulder and getting into the ball. But yeah, 4-1. Not surprised.
Yeah.
The one though, I'm surprised by the one.
Yeah, exactly.
If anything. All right, what should we hit up next here?
I want to get into this Bournemouth game.
Yeah, controversy. Let's do it. It's about time.
Sheesh.
What do you got to say first?
I was just gonna say, I think even taking out the VAR controversy that we're gonna get into, I think Bournemouth played way better than Newcastle this game.
I agree.
They looked to be all over them, bullying them off the ball. Shout out Semenyo. He provided a lot for that Bournemouth attack. I think he had something like 7 shots, but none on target. So he's got to get better there, obviously. But some great crosses into the box as well. This Newcastle team does not look like the Newcastle of last season at all, which I don't know what pieces are missing. You don't have Schär back there for this game, but even in the build-up, I'd say they look very, I don't know, just not Newcastle.
This could be a Trippier problem.
That could be too. There's talks he wants to leave now too, so I don't know if that's a falling out or just an aging out issue, but he certainly brought a lot of attacking threat last season, bagged a handful of assists along the way. So that's a good shout. Could be down to Trippier not being part of the squad.
I liked this team when they were playing a rotation of Schär, Botman, Burns, kind of rotating those 3 within the center backs role, mostly keeping Burns on the left-hand side. Miley Lewis, is that correct? Miley Lewis?
I think the other way. Lewis Miley, so.
Thank you. Like him a lot. Wasn't really seen in this game. I think last year too, Joe Willett came on a lot of the times to kind of get the team going again. He's only has 21 minutes in these last 2 games. I feel like that's not enough.
Yeah.
This team is missing probably the creativity, right? Not a lot there with Joe Linton and Longstaff. I like Harvey Barnes. Harvey Barnes came on and got the assist. I think he deserves to play more. This team has some things to figure out. But yes, I agree with you. Bournemouth has way more fight in them than arguably most teams in the league. I think we wanted, like, if Crystal Palace was doing what Bournemouth was doing right now, not winning games, but at least showing the energy, I'd be so much higher on them. So that's why I kind of am a believer that Bournemouth, you know, they probably should have beat Forest, right? They could have definitely beat Newcastle here. I think they could maybe break top 10 if they get things swinging in the right way. I just think this Newcastle team, God, I don't even want to know where we have them right now. Probably way too high.
Probably.
8 for me, 6 for you.
Yeah.
So that's a readjustment waiting to happen.
Yeah. I don't know. I mean, even, Anthony Gordon, who I felt like if it wasn't Trippier doing something, like Anthony Gordon was leading an attack or, opening space. And I feel like even he's struggled to get going. And, he didn't play in the Euros basically. So he almost had the summer off. Like he should be pretty fresh still. So yeah, they got to figure out what's the blockage there. Only one goal against Southampton. Granted, you were down to 10 men for a large part of that game, but I'm used to watching them and seeing this really quick team.
Yeah, super pacey,
especially on the counters too. Like just everyone's diving forward and with so much speed and getting pretty easy goals off of that, and they don't seem to be getting that. And like, granted, Southampton and Bournemouth are going to be sitting back a little bit more than some teams, but to not be able to really find your way through that team as easily as you probably should is certainly a little concerning. You had 2 games in, but next week you're up against Tottenham, which right now Tottenham looks like they're going to stomp you.
That might be a high-scoring effort. I believe.
Yeah.
Checking my pick'ems here. I believe I have Tottenham winning that game. Yeah, if we had to choose goals scored, it'd be a chunk. It would be a chunk.
Yeah.
Especially
Newcastle very nearly definitely should have lost this game, but VAR saved them on one for sure occasion and a second that they just did not check. So.
Okay, so this shirt rule, Chad. How do we describe this?
So yeah, I was looking it up, trying to get a little bit more, definite description here, and I think the official description is like ends at like the bottom of the armpit is where they call it. It's on your shoulder, whatever. So it's not a handball. So below that would be handball, right? So, but I think most refs probably just look more towards the sleeve line because it's generally bottom of the armpit-ish and, just a much more visible, easy to spot location rather than this like arbitrary bottom of armpit area. So yeah, corner kick comes in. Atara goes up for it against, I think, Dan Burn.
Yep.
Gets his arm across Dan Burn. Ball clearly hits off his arm, but in the high area. And goes in the goal. And this is what, like 92, 93 minutes or something. So like the dagger, right? I don't know how long VAR spent looking at it, but I know they did not send the ref over to look for himself.
That's
which
a problem.
is a problem. Because in all the replays I've seen, and we watched it that morning, I watched it again today and tried to find other angles, and every angle I've seen is one, either not conclusive enough that it hit low enough on his arm to say it should be a handball, but 2, also just looks like it's high enough that I think, considering arm position where it is, kind of draped across Dan Burns, like it's hard to tell where that bottom of the armpit is at that point in time, right? Like where that line would be cut. So
That's why we have
hits,
sleeves. That's why, like,
hit sleeve. So I think you got to kind of play that as fair. But VAR deemed it otherwise, and I don't know. Newcastle got away with that one. They really should not have gotten any point here, but here we are.
so I just know it's going to happen this year. We're going to see a ball hit a sleeve like this as a defender, and they're going to call it a handball too. If this, because flip rolls here, that guy's defending. Are we calling this a handball in the box for a PK? I thought we were supposed to be less harsh on handballs, but not going in the attacking direction. I'm sorry. As a defender's supposed to have a little more leeway too, right? So reverse rolls here. Dan Burns goes up for that. That hits him in the exact same spot. They're not going to call that a handball, right? Or they should. At least they say they shouldn't.
Yeah, I wouldn't think so.
I just to reverse it now and to swap roles and it's now going to go against the attacking team when it's fringe like that. I don't know. I understand if you accidentally handball it, you can't be the first one to score it.
Yeah.
I don't know what else he could have done here to change his position without taking out Dan Burns.
Yeah, I think arm position was fine. That's, natural when you're going up and you're trying to, kind of box out the defending player, all legally fairly. Like none of that felt like he was increasing the size of his body or, pushing his arm out towards the ball. And for me, the biggest thing is that on field, it was called a goal. Why is VAR just automatically getting to overturn it themselves? It should be that the ref has to go double check that. Like, I think if the ref goes and looks at that, maybe he overturns as the ref and VAR seem to kind of stick together on decisions, but maybe he also says like, well, it is upper sleeve area and like there's nothing really showing that it hit below that. So goal should stand, but it's as much as they don't want VAR to re-ref games, here it is, match day 2, doing that.
But they leave Joe Linton out there to absolutely clothesline a keeper. I've never seen anything like that before.
That was crazy, and that was maybe the clearest thread we've seen beyond Mascara's antics. Like, this was a almost, I guess, a full-on like clothesline, right? Like,
absolutely. I have a screenshot of him wrapping his forearm around the neck of Neto. One, okay, if you're not going to give this a red, why is this not a yellow? You're arguably stopping a counterattack, even though it's starting in the box.
I think he gave him a yellow.
Oh, I don't believe he did.
Really?
No, he got a yellow at the 95th minute. That wasn't that yellow.
Are you sure? I think it was that one.
It was that one?
I'm pretty sure.
Okay.
I think it was.
I don't remember. I thought that play happened earlier.
No, I think it was pretty late.
Okay. Okay.
Yeah, I think that was. He did get a yellow for it. But I mean, really, VAR should have stepped in then and said, like, "Whoa, hey, go double check that," because that was violent conduct, right? Like, not that they need to say that, but just let the ref go take another look. And I know that, like, when the yellows get handed out, they don't really like to step in and say much. But if it is a yellow that's handed out that should be upgraded to a red, we've seen them do that with the crunching tackles and high boots and stuff. Like, this is pretty clearly a red when you maybe live from ref point of view is hard to see, but you look at any angle here and I think it looks clear red. I don't know how he gets away with it. Maybe he got lucky that it was late in the game, so ref was just like ready to go. But yeah, that's another interesting miss on the day.
I just don't. I mean, the ref. There's no way. There's no way you see that clearly and don't give it a red. So
Yeah.
I would love to kind of look back and see exactly what the ref was looking at the time. The play is moving forward. I think the ref probably assumed that ball was going to get thrown, kicked, whatever, at a very quick rate, considering Bournemouth was ready to go downfield and try to score.
Yeah.
So, he probably saw a keeper on the ground, Joe Linton standing over him, and just said, all right.
You stop the counter, yellow, move on.
Okay. Well,
Hey.
my bad. I misjudged that. I thought that was earlier in the game. But still wild that it wasn't a red.
Yeah. Newcastle, lucky to leave with a point, lucky to leave with 10 men.
Yeah.
Take it and run.
Absolutely. All right. What are we missing here? I think the couple games we have left, I think we're pretty set in stone. Oh, I guess Tottenham, Everton. Yeah, we saw that coming. Pickford,
Everton's
yikes.
in trouble.
They're in trouble. You could say that loud and proud. Too early to lock them in for relegation, but this is not a good team.
Yeah. Really just dumb mistake from Pickford. And I think just overall a weirdly disorganized and sloppy Everton. Like, I didn't expect them to come out and really attack or cause too much issue for Tottenham, but in those games they're at least normally really well drilled and keep their lines and keep their shape well and make it hard to work through them, and they just seemed kind of all over the place in so much of the game.
What do they do to fix it?
What do they do to fix it? I'm not sure at this point. Like,
build a new stadium.
Yeah, that might be it. I guess they do have some issues in the back line. You're missing Branthwaite still. You got that whatever that Dixon guy, Roman Ivan Quinton Dixon, young kid. Fair enough. Like, you'll have to get someone back to probably step in before him, but I think Sean Dyche knows this is going to be his back line going into the game, right? He knows he's missing an Ashley Young and a Branthwaite and all that. So, like, you just got to pack the defensive end of the midfield then, right? And play that. And I mean, let's be honest, on your best day, I don't know that you're even getting a win here. You would maybe be lucky to leave with a draw. So you might as well just try and keep it at 0 goals for as long as you can. And, I think Sean Dyche just got this one wrong, and here we are, and I don't know where you go from here to really fix it. It's, if there's already talk of you getting a point deduction, like, I don't know that you have much money to spend between that, your stadium builds, all this. So I don't know if I'd nail them on as a relegation candidate yet, technically, but they're certainly flirting with danger already.
It's not great for them. I don't see a way out. It's like, do you keep Sean Dyche too? I understand he's the guy that keeps you out of relegation, right? So, like, maybe near the end, he can figure it out. But yeah, they got some work to do. They have a tough. I think they're gonna have a tough schedule. They have Bournemouth next, which Bournemouth is way hungrier than you are.
Yeah.
Especially after not winning that last game. I think I would pick Bournemouth pretty easily to win that one.
I'd agree.
And then they get Aston Villa. They get Leicester, and Leicester hasn't looked bad. It's gonna be a rough one for Everton.
Yeah. I think another rough season for them. I don't know. Sean Dyche has done a lot, but even at some point with Burnley, he couldn't do enough, and they got relegated with him. So it could be that time, and unfortunately, it would be a pretty poor time for that to happen to Everton. As the new stadium's coming on, but
Not great timing.
I saw a post today of Everton is just like reliving the same season over and over and over, and it feels so accurate. And there's got to be a way out, whether that is new ownership or new manager, at least. I don't know. It's got to be tough to be an Everton fan right now.
I feel like we've never seen a good Everton season, and arguably last season might have been the best one we've seen. And they were still in the relegation zone just by point deductions, but
yeah,
it might be another one of those years where it comes down to the end, and you got fans losing their mind saying we're not going down, but at the same time you got fans saying this is embarrassing. So,
yeah, I mean, it could be one of those things where it's almost better to go down.
Yeah.
You'll have to shed some players, but that should also open up some wage structure for you. As long as you can kind of stabilize in championship, whether you're there for a year, 2, 3, whatever it might be, like, because you're kind of going through all this weird turmoil with the ownership and finances and all that, it might just kind of work out better in the end, honestly, which, is not ideal, but one of those things you got to look long-term, I think, rather than focusing so hard on like staying up at Premier League and just like barely floating above water here.
You need a reset. Hard reset. Yeah. Figure it out. And then, it's one of those teams where, like Leicester, can, I think, if they make the right adjustments, they can come back. I mean, Leicester, the year they went down, I think we were kind of surprised that it happened. Then they absolutely roll the championship and then come back into Premier League saying, yeah, we're back. Yeah. Just like that. And Everton, way different past, at least the last decade or so. But teams, I think with the revenue and the quality, they can make that quick adjustment. I mean, there's plenty of them out there. Southampton too. Of course, I don't expect Southampton to really move up in the table that much. I hope they don't get relegated, but I don't know, maybe a quick reset for them would be eye-opening. Big adjustments would happen. Fans, I think, would appreciate it, the Premier League, a little bit more, and then
probably
have that energy again to get back there. I think there could be some good for Everton to go down. But it's the risky game. Can you get back?
Yeah. I don't think it would be a direct, like, next year bounce back. But I think, again, if you're looking like bigger picture, longer term, it's probably the move they need to make.
Yep. Total refresh. Keep the young guys. Keep the ones under 23, 24. Get rid of your Pickfords, your Tarkowskis, your Calvert-Lewins, all the, I won't call them dead weight, but at this rate, they're not helping your team.
No, you got to do something different, and it'll be a big change, but there you go. Yep. It could spring you forward, so got to risk it sometimes.
Tottenham, we expect you to do that, so
yeah, well
congrats.
done. You
did it. Welcome back, Basuma.
Yeah, he's feeling good after the nitrous or whatever it was.
He put some nitrous in his leg. Did you see that?
Yeah, that's what he was doing.
Yep, he was saving it. All right, West Ham, Crystal Palace. I could fume and fume and fume, Chad. Remember, it was 2 years ago. I couldn't stand Crystal Palace. I wanted them to get relegated. I was done with it. And then last year they changed me. I was a changed man.
Yeah.
I said, you have a squad. You have great wing backs. You have 3 arguably really good defenders. Richards, Anderson, Guehi. Guehi killed it in the Euros. They said Anderson's our guy. He's not going anywhere.
He was incredible last season.
We say we're not going to get rid of Elise. We're going to keep Eze. We're going to keep Mateta. This is an attacking trio that we can work around. And then what do? They sell their best defender. They sell their best young attacker. This team, I understand, like it's 11, right? But those were two essential guys who got you to the point last year when things were finally looking like you could actually do better than 12th.
Yeah,
you beat Liverpool,
especially how that season ended for them. They needed to do all they could to keep Elise in and healthy. Keep that team together and fill in some holes because they ended so strongly and so confidently. And, even Mateta went to the Olympics and had a great Olympics there with France. But owners see those dollar signs and say, hey, for the right price, anyone can go.
We're good with 12. That's what that's what they said. And if I'm a fan of Crystal Palace, fuming. Again, you love your club. You go to the games, but what? We're 2 games in now. Lost to Brentford, lost to West Ham. You got Chelsea next. This could get ugly fast.
Well, that's the thing is, there's still rumors of Newcastle looking at Guehi. I don't think Crystal Palace would be crazy enough to sell both Anderson and Guehi, but it's also not impossible in my head that they could do that.
Sell Eze too. Just do it. If we're gonna go half-ass, go full. Go full.
Yeah. You might as well, because I mean, even if this team stays as it is now, if I'm Eze, if I'm Mitchell, even maybe Chris Richards back there, Mateta maybe, I'm probably keeping an eye out elsewhere in the football world and just staying open to options because 1, your club is willing to sell you, and 2, if you're going to be on a club that doesn't have the aspirations to try and get as high as they can, then it almost feels like, what are we playing for here? Obviously, yeah, you're getting a paycheck, you're getting paid well still, but I think most players have a desire to want to be on a team that's fighting in the top end of the table and getting at least a chance now of Conference League. It's less of Europe, but it's still a European league, right? And that's just part of what players look for in these, of doing the bigger competitions. And if this team doesn't want to take you there, I think you've all done your time here, you've all tried, but it's maybe time to move on. And Eze could easily find his way into another team. There's all the talk about Tottenham looking at him this summer. Mateta, if he can kind of keep building on the form of last season and of the Olympics, I think he could do well at any other mid-table team here. It's Crystal Palace had the pieces and is slowly handing them out, giving them away.
I said fire sale.
Yeah.
Yeah, I mean, I think Guehi's the domino. I think if he goes, that's a Eze move too.
Sure. Yeah.
48 hours. They said we get 48 hours. This is 8 hours ago. 48 hours and we know the Guehi future. Apparently, Newcastle bid right now is 70 million. Newcastle asked Tottenham for 80 million for Eze. If they do one, you do the other. That's what I'm saying right now.
It's big numbers. But the owners, the owners have to decide: do they own a football club because they want to make a lot of money, or because they want to see the team succeed, which will then bring the money?
Nah, the first one.
It's not looking. It's looking that way. But I agree. If you're selling Guehi, you might as well just sell Eze. You're not gonna do anything. You'll be lucky if you stay up. Might as well take the money while the offer's there and move on.
Yep. Well, on the bright side, West Ham, who I have ruled as top 4 team, they look good. They look like they handle business much better, organized. I think we'll start to see full crew come in earlier and earlier. He got in at the 60th minute. Wan-Bissaka, 60th minute. Great goal by Bowen. Great little cut in. Like that a lot. And then the Souček goal too. Just nice. Kilman, solid player to have in the back there.
I think so.
Again, the weaknesses I think is just Mavropanos, like, and
Yeah.
I think even with him there and everyone else, you can make it work.
Yeah. I mean, this is a side that, we didn't even see James Ward-Prowse come in,
I know.
which is surprising. And you still had Somerville that didn't get to come in. I think you don't even play Mavropanos anymore. Just get
No, Tadibo,
Tadibo in there.
yeah, it's coming.
Um,
It's coming.
it's coming for sure, but like again, it's one of those, like you said earlier, like you got these new guys, get them in and just play them. Which I don't know, maybe coach is thinking, Kilman's new, Tadibou's obviously new, Mavropanos is like the experienced West Ham player of this backline at the moment, so maybe that's why you keep them in there for right now while they kind of get settled. But they look much better than that first game, so things are trending upward, at least for them.
I would love to, if you were to rematch West Ham and Villa again. I think West Ham would get it this time.
I like that.
But we won't have that for quite a while.
West Ham's got City next, so buckle up.
Oh boy, oh boy. Is that this weekend?
Yeah.
What? Saturday and Sunday games, right? For the time being.
Yeah.
Okay.
Saturday. So yeah, West Ham looking better. Got Bowen back on the score sheet.
Yep.
I think you just gotta keep getting Kudus involved though.
Yeah, more.
Yeah,
he's there. And lastly, Forest and Southampton. Lower tier games on our list. We're still waiting for Carlos Miguel. When Carlos Miguel gets in, I will watch the full 90 of that matchup. That's what we're waiting for. But nice Morgan Gibbs-White goal. Not a whole lot to say other than that, but Forest, you're coming out. You got 4 points. Not a bad way to start your season.
Not at all.
You could have dropped all these points and you found a way. So
yeah. We do have one more game to talk about.
Which one we miss?
Big Wow Fast, baby.
Oh, Wow Fast. We all saw that coming. We knew he was going to score a goal here. One of the few times we could say the refereeing was decent in them not calling back that goal. I think maybe Vardy has that seniority where people know he's going to do that, so he can get away with it maybe a little bit more. I'd be curious to see what other player could do that and get away with it. But I'm happy the goal stood. But again, it's Leicester. Fulham has a bit more class.
Yeah.
Are you happy your old boy scored?
Yeah, great to see Smith Rowe score. I think he can still do better. Like, he stat wise kind of only got the goal, which is fine. I'll take those fantasy points, but I think there's more for him to do. And even Iwobi got a goal. So 2 former Arsenal guys,
true,
leading Fulham to the victory. And now you're adding in Anderson into this back line, so I think that'll even be better. Robinson's looked great. Tete's looked pretty good too. Fulham, I think, will be decent.
They'll make it.
They'll make it. There's no relegation threat, I think, for them. But
no.
I'm glad your Wout Fast pick has so far paid off.
It's not bad. It's not bad. What am I? Am I top? Is Wout Fast top 10?
Well,
no, he's got to be right around there. Right around there. All right, a little bit. He's at least a top 5 defender, right?
Yeah.
The goal helps.
But he made the team of the week, so
yes. We'll take that.
He's doing his part, keeping your team up there. So
we're up there. I don't know for how much longer when Cole Palmer's just gonna rack up these assists and points. That's my fear.
Yeah.
I might make a move. This week.
Oh yeah, I'm keeping my eye on things too. It's still weird that you're the only one with Salah, so keeping an eye on that.
Zach Fisher, don't forget.
Oh yeah, Zach Fisher as well. But still, only 2 people to have Salah is
it's a gift.
Quite a sight. So
who jumps off Ollie Watkins first?
Ooh, That's a good
Because if you
question.
listen to the pod and you look at the schedule, you should.
Uh,
But you got 7 of us with him.
I think I don't know who will be first, because all these people I think are fairly active and will check. But I mean, Ollie Watkins 2 games in, sitting at 3 points. It's not enough.
It's
That's
like
not doing enough.
third
And I think
lowest.
if you have looked at any of his performances, just visually, it doesn't quite look like he's there, ready to go. So I would be. I tend to make switches maybe a bit prematurely and reactive, and that might have been one of them.
Yeah, I think again the next line of games will say a lot. It'll say a lot, but I'm hoping I can at least zag while people are zigging. You know, Cole Palmer, everyone's got Cole Palmer now, and I'm sitting back watching, and you know, I had a couple players where I thought, okay, if they get hurt, they're gonna get subbed out, or maybe go on the IR, whichever one you choose. But that'll be an opportunity for me to bring them back into my squad.
Sure.
So I've been thinking about that, and of course Watkins is on that list, Palmer's on that list, Eze's on that list, especially if he gets transferred. So I'm keeping my eye out for a couple, because I can make really easy moves. I just want a little bit more out of my mids, Kudus and Caicedo. If I didn't have Bruno right now, I think I'd be in a little bit more trouble. And then of course Maatsen. Maatsen's my weak spot. Yeah. So. Happy for my forwards, though. Saka, Salah, Haaland. Can't go wrong with those 3.
Yeah, solid.
I think I'm the only one with those 3, unless Zach Fisher has the same too. No, he has Watkins instead of Saka, so I'm one of a kind up top.
There you go.
I'll take it.
Enjoy it while you can. I'm sure people will start to jump on your players a little bit. So,
and I will jump on theirs. All right, should we get to our awards?
Yeah.
Take it away. Where do you want to start?
Let's start with goals here. Palmer's goal was nice.
Yes.
That first touch lob is, and kind of at speed is always a tough one and easy to mess up, and pretty much perfectly weighted there. So. Very nice. I liked Bowen. Great to see him make that run and get that little cut back in and slot it home.
You were a little worried about him. You were a little worried.
Yeah, that eased my worries on him, I think.
Good.
I think he'll start to get on the ball more as this West Ham team kind of figures it out a little bit. Yeah, Smith Rowe's goal I thought was pretty nice. Right when he gets into the box, I kind of thought he was going to lose it, but then he just kind of bursts into a little bit extra speed and gets some space and puts it in very nicely.
He took a great angle.
Yeah. Diaz and Salah, I thought both had great goals. If I had to pick one, I'd maybe lean Diaz just because of the drive and the power on that shot, and not to take anything away from Salah's goal, it's perfectly placed. But he was just left wide open for whatever reason. So
they've been doing that. Don't know why.
They've been doing that. They're forgetting.
It's the hair, man. They don't recognize him.
Can't see him anymore.
They don't recognize him. I think it's just someone else.
Yeah. What do you got?
Pretty much the same. You kind of got my order, I think, pretty good. Diallo gets number 4. Diaz number 3. Just love the finish. Love the confidence to slot that away. The Palmer kiss, just like perfectly weighted. But the Basuma rocket, that's where I'm ending up. It's very fitting with how he took a week off and now just got these jet packs in his leg. It was just so hard. that ball was hit so hard.
Yeah.
I like that one a lot.
All right. Yeah, it'd be between that and Diaz for me. Both with great power. But I think Basuma's a good shout, though. Is a little bit through traffic too, so no guarantee.
The whole setup, it would be Liverpool, or like if it was a team goal award, Liverpool for sure, just because the pass that happened, the Salah putting his body on the line, and then Diaz just on his horse, dude, just going.
Yeah,
but straight up goal, just like, Basuma wins it for me.
I like that.
Player can't be Haaland.
Can't be Haaland. He's not there yet. He's got to do better. I got Son here. 2 goals, 3 shots on target. One of the goals being a very simple nick off of Pickford and put it in. But good performance. Diaz is also on there for me, a goal and an assist. I could go either way on Palmer or Madueke. I'd honestly maybe lean Palmer just because he was at the center of so much of that. And then I have to give a shout out to David Raya. Clean sheet. Only 3 saves, but some big saves in there. It very easily that game could have went a different way if he wasn't back there making those key saves. So, that's what I got.
I like the Reyes shout, but I think it's got to be Palmer or Madueke just based on the hat trick. But I do think I'm leaning against. Oh man, that's a tough one. Yeah. Those goals were just so easy. It felt so easy. So it's. I'm not saying anyone could do it, but it wasn't. It's hard to knock them down when it's like, okay, you got 3 assists and a goal.
It's each goal was for Madueke is almost the exact same.
Put it in.
Maybe credit to him. He figured out Salah's weakness and just exploited it. I don't know. I think for me it might just be a shared Palmer Madueke.
Yeah, I'm good with that. Give it to the Blue Brothers.
Yeah,
that's fair. But Raya, though, I understand why you lean that way. I get it. I get it. Flowers to Chelsea for scoring 6 goals, but I got to go Arsenal here just on the revenge tour. It was 2-0 last time they were there, right? Mm-hmm. So I think that felt good. I think Aston Villa fans wanted their team to do exactly what they did last year, and it just fell so flat. So
I like that. I had Arsenal down as well. Got the revenge. I was already nervous going into that one, and for them to get the job done was nice to see. Chelsea, shout outs for putting 6 past Wolves, but I think if it was a stronger Wolves side or another team, I'd be more impressed with it, I guess. Then also Brighton look, if you're going to beat United, you're going to get my nomination.
It's fair. It's good.
Yeah, I mean they look good too. So they're doing their thing. They're up there. One of the few that have won both opening games. So,
well, who we got top of the table right now? It's still Brighton.
It's City. City on a 1 goal more.
Oh, jeez.
Yeah.
If you let in a goal, you shouldn't be at the top.
That's what I'm saying.
Yeah. So in our hearts, we're at the top.
Exactly.
So
we're sharing the top spot at the moment.
Well, sweet. I'm very much looking forward to this weekend. A lot of
spicy
matchup. This is week 3 before the international break. This is where we won't see a huge separation, but I think we'll know a lot more after this weekend.
I think so.
And have a better idea of what the future awaits for us. We did it, Chad. Anything else to add?
No, that's about it. More excitement to come.
Well, we conquered Vegas. Now let's conquer the Premier League in season 3 of the Hooligans Pitch. With that, Hooligans Pitch, we're out. Peace.